Alright, story. Learn more about... Are you fucking kidding me?
I kind of want to know what's in there.
Did I spend a fucking week and a half desperately studying Guilty... Oh.
They have a chronology. They have a timeline.
Are you fucking... I spent a week watching videos and scrolling through wikis with this... I am... Austin, why? Okay, so let's see. What is this timeline? So UN, Assassin's Guild. Wait, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? I didn't know that. Oh, this was right before Y2K, and then Dawn of Revival happens, which is, the thing I told you about that being trying to ruin all technology on Y2K.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. And then they banned electronics, and then they discovered magic. This is a thing that I didn't explain. This Sanctus Populi just becomes like a government, essentially. All electronic devices in existence are rendered useless, bring side use in the use. In the wake of this,
Y2K actually happened. People freaked out. They banned electronics, discovered magic in an electronic-less world. Some, let's see, acolytes flocked to discover them. Okay, so basically a magic cult came up.
Yep.
Great.
It essentially becomes the Apostles. This eventually becomes the government. Practical
okay,
application.
So the okay,
Sorry.
cool. The magic cult becomes a government. Got it.
Eventually, yeah. Practical application of magic. Researchers discover a system that can allow magic to be easily used by anyone, regardless of skill. So this is basically... Magic is like a science in this world, okay?
Okay.
India withdraws from the UN and forms their own nation. The
UN is a collection of nations already.
Yeah, so India withdraws from UN. Sorry, I meant to say forms their own... It's not... It doesn't stay India. They become ZEP, and it's this flying country, I think. Okay? When I say flying, I mean it's like a giant floating city.
Yeah, alright. Great. India had a civil war. Got it.
Rationing... What the fuck is this? An international standard is set for the... Oh.
Great. Zeal is mana.
Okay.
Cool. And they regulated it.
Third major energy revolution because of magic. An organization founded by an Indian secretly begins to be the nation of Zep. See? An ultra dreadnought class ship.
Okay. Powered by magic, one can assume.
No, because this is India, which didn't ban technology.
Oh.
Yeah. Alright, gear cell theories. The person who will eventually become known as that man completes his gear cell theory. The members of his team included Vince McDonald. Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is Vince? I don't know who that is. Frederick and Arya. Frederick becomes Soul. Arya becomes Justice. Initially, Frederick was assigned to the Saint Oratorio project, but after realizing the importance of the gears... Okay, so we'll get back to the Saint Oratorio. So the gears have started being made. Prototype gear is born. Frederick so this is Frederick undergoes a massive genetic restructuring, becoming the first gear prototype.
Wait, they can do that?
What do you mean?
So you described gears to me as like genetically modified variants of existing organisms.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me they did it with like existing like people.
Oh,
I thought they
I thought I
bred
mentioned
them.
that Soul Frederick was the thing that happened to him.
Oh, maybe you did. You kind of were throwing a lot of shit at me, and I was trying to play Xenoblade.
Fair. Well, okay, so they do... They only do it to 2 people that I know of, but this could prove me wrong.
So most of them they did make from scratch.
Oh, they made from animals, I think.
But
Not
they're like
people.
Okay. Are they humanoid or are they just animals?
Most of them are animalistic.
Are they like furries? Or are they just...
I can send you some pictures.
We're about to play the game. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't know how many gears we're going to see. Most of them have been killed at this point.
Oh, I guess we're going to get to that in the timeline, too.
Guilty gear.
If they're all dead, I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah, they're all kind of monstrous, you know? Like they look like these kind of semi like mechanical creatures, and they all look vaguely alien.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, gear slows. Yeah, so he makes a headband that lets him control his gear form, essentially.
What is this gear form?
It's very, very monstrous, and this kind of helps him stay more human. He can't like control himself or his emotions or like his he just essentially becomes primal when he unleashes it. Does that make sense?
So like a wet creature.
Kinda, yeah.
But with like fucking genetic modification.
Yeah.
Instead of whatever werewolves are made of.
Moon magic, I guess.
Yeah, alright, cool.
I mean, I'm just guessing of what werewolves are made of, right? Alright, so this ship, yeah, is made, and this becomes... Yeah, see, all those who still believe in science, not magic, to be the way gather forward around this massive ship. It declares itself a sovereign and independent state. Yeah, so it's the ship that becomes a country called Zet.
I want to know what the aesthetic of that is. It like steampunk because
Yes.
of the like big. Okay, yeah, because of the big technological gap and the fact that like they ditched electronics. I imagine it's not like super modern or whatever.
It's okay. This is the country that kept going with electronics, so it's like steampunk, but like it's weird. I've only seen very brief snippets of Zet, so.
Yeah, all right.
I've read a lot about it. I spent a lot of time in the fucking wiki, but wikis, I don't look at the gallery as often as I should.
All right, cool.
Sorry, I need to respond to a text because it's a work thing. All
Bro,
right,
you're already at work. You're streaming.
True. So the gear project keeps going. So they make a gear prototype, which is a weapon. Then they complete it, and they begin mass producing these gears.
Which are just monsters based on other creatures, effectively.
Yeah, they have 6 classes, but I don't remember what they are.
Okay.
And I don't think you care enough for me to go look it up.
Okay.
So his
How old is Frederick at this point? What the fuck?
So he's a gear, so he lives a very long time. In canon, in the story, I think he's like 100 something.
He wasn't a gear. Did becoming a gear extend his human lifespan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So he
Okay,
became
sure.
a gear right around 2016.
So how old was he at that point?
Somewhere in his... It's hard to tell from the pictures, but the youngest you could put him is like 20. And that's being very generous.
Okay, so he's a young adult.
Yeah. But like you could also put him at like 30, to be honest. Considering he's a fucking scientist at this point. You know? Like he's a known scientist. It's probably better to put him somewhere in his 30s.
Okay.
So, you know, assuming 30 in 2016, by now, so this is basically when he stops aging, though.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so now we're at 2065. So now, Frederick begins a campaign of destruction, laying waste to gears and gear production and distribution facilities. Unable to determine who he is, the authorities begin to simply refer to him as Bad Guy.
So was destroying the gears like a noble mission he undertook because he understood like why they were bad or some shit? Why'd he do it?
So part of it's that so way back here, right? He and that man, the guy who were making it, had a conversation about how much they didn't want gears to be made into weapons.
Okay, so when they started researching, they were like, we're going to use these for good. And then the government was like, ha, nah, we're going to make weapons.
Yeah.
And then Frederico here was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, if you're curious, that man is also trying to figure out a way to stop the weapons if he needs to. which is why he inserted himself back into this project.
So that man is working with the government, but like as a fucking sleeper agent, and he and Soul are kind of on the same side.
Kind of, yes.
The shit runs deep. Oh my god, bro, Emma would love this game.
Oh yeah, she fucking would. All right, so they call him Bad Guy as like a code name.
Yeah.
You know how the government be. So that's where he gets Bad Guy from. MDZH, we're starting to answer the questions.
Frederick, Bad Guy.
Yeah, so Imperial State of Zep. So now, Justice, okay, is born. So Justice is this the next gear that has free will.
Okay.
Okay. All the other gears before this don't actually have their own like will; they just have directives. Does that make sense?
Yeah. They're like programmed and operate based on those parameters with that motivation.
Yeah, they have like our current day level of AI.
Okay.
So like they can.
Oh god, that's terrifying.
Well, yeah, so they can kind of like make decisions, right?
Not consistently good ones.
No.
Or correct ones based on context, even.
No.
Bro, how many gears do you think just started fucking someone? Like, they gave those gears AI dungeon shit, and they just went off.
Yeah, okay, so Justice is made. So Soul develops an anti-gear weapon he names Outrage. Its power proves to be too much even for him, and he dismantles it into 8 pieces. During the these would become known as the Sacred Treasures because of their incredible power. Alright. So, disaster strikes during an activation for test for just. I love the way it says this, and not she nuked Japan into a fucking crater in the ocean.
Wait. Okay, that's kind of important. They said disaster strikes, but didn't specify what happened. It's kind of important that she went fucking rogue and blew up a country.
So that's not exactly what happened. So, do you remember the Divine Will? The Dawn of Revival thingy?
No.
Okay, so way back here, when this happened, right? MTCH, I'm explaining it. So back when this happened, it was this thing called the Divine Will trying to manifest through technology, okay? So what happens here is it essentially pops up, spawning in Japan for some reason. I don't know if they ever actually explained that or if it just randomly chose a point in the world and happened to land over Japan. And a bunch of basically Japanese people just start turning into like monsters and exploding. Like they'll turn into monsters and then explode.
Why is that happening?
Do you want me to explain it?
What does that have to do with the fact that everyone started believing in a higher order or whatever?
This is the higher order that is doing this, that is causing this.
Wait,
kind
so
of
they started
inadvertently.
believing in a god who was real and started turning them into monsters like years later, and they started exploding?
Yeah. I'm skipping some steps.
I'm so confused. Okay. So Y2K happens, it's real, everyone starts believing in God, and then 70 years later, God says, great, I'm transforming you all and you're fucking kamikazing this shit.
Yes, but...
In Japan!
Yes, but the rest of the world doesn't know that. The only...
Oh, wait. Okay, so these people are only in Japan, the religious people.
No. The thing happened all over the world, but nobody knows about the stuff that happened in Japan before Justice nuked it.
Okay, so God
okay.
said fuck Japan in particular, and then Justice was like, well, fuck you.
Well, so just to explain, to give you a little bit more sense of time, MDZH, wait, how is this the abridged version? Welcome to my hell. So
I'm doing my best here.
So, Austin, to give you a better sense of scale of time, them turning into monsters and exploding and Justice nuking Japan happened within 24 hours.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I assumed that Justice did that to stop it.
Yes. Specifically,
which makes sense.
Specifically, that man took control of Justice, like, remotely, because he had just activated her, and made her do that. Because that was the only way he could think of to stop the spread, because it was spreading. It was like a focal point that people started turning into monsters and exploding, and it was spreading outwards.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense. I maybe a little extreme, but I get it.
He panicked.
I get it. I understand. That makes sense. I'm just... Okay, so there's a god that turned people into exploding monsters.
It's not a god. Austin, I don't want to tell you because you're just gonna fucking lose it and disconnect from the call.
Just try me.
Alright, so there was this dude...
I'm not gonna stop until I understand this to some extent.
There's this dude, and the only thing we know him is the Sage, or the Original, or the Philosopher. Like, that's the only title we've been given, and we've never seen him in game. Just call him the Sage.
He's like a prophet.
Yeah, so he was this, like, ancient Greek philosopher.
Great.
And he discovered this kind of alternate world called the Backyard.
Uh-huh.
So the Backyard is this, like, superior world to our world. And you can, like, do things in the Backyard that will cause amazing things to happen in our world that you couldn't do just in our world. Does that make sense? No, it's fine. It doesn't make sense to anyone else either.
So he's like Buddha.
Yeah, so he finds this place, and it's this...
Sounds like Nirvana.
Yeah, huge mystical place that he just barely can comprehend, right? But
okay.
He says something like, I want this place to be peaceful forever. I never want there to be any evil here.
Okay.
So, he creates, in the Backyard, an AI with the goal... Fuck, hold on. I need to look something up quickly. I need to make sure I get this right.
Okay, so this dude stumbled into heaven.
It's okay. I'm going crazy.
Oh, that is normal.
Wait, when did this happen? When did the dude find heaven?
Ancient Greece? Hold on.
Wait, okay, so why did the people in 1999 suddenly, like,
because he didn't
decide to start
anyone.
believing?
He wrote this all in a book and then, like, hid the book away.
And then they found it around the time Y2K happened.
I don't even think the book's ever been found.
Then how did they start believing in it if they didn't know about it?
So, I'll get to that. Hold on.
This doesn't make sense.
Wait, what is...
And at some point it might, but I don't know if I'll have my sanity to comprehend it by then.
Oh, fuck. I think I just found spoilers on the wiki. Oh, no!
For this game?
Yeah!
How? It's been out... What? 16 hours?
A day on PC and, like, 3 on PS3, or PS4, PS5. Okay, give me a minute here, alright? Okay, so... Wait, no, sorry, I have the timing wrong. He was actually... this was the late 20th century. I thought it was an ancient Greek philosopher. My bad. Back up. Okay, so late 20th century, the original discovered and accessed the Backyard.
Okay.
Okay, so I explained all that shit, right?
Yeah. Alright, so we got late Jesus here.
Yes, so... During his studies, he created an information organism, which is kind of like an AI.
Yeah.
Whose directive was to ensure eternal happiness for humans, but without ever harming them.
Okay.
Then he left the Backyard, took all of his findings, put it in a book, and I don't know, maybe chucked it into space or something. He hid it somewhere. I don't think it's been found yet, as far as I know.
Okay.
So, what happens when Y2K happens is that this thing that he made, it's called, it ends up being called the Universal Will, okay?
The Bible.
No, the thing he made.
Yeah.
The information...
I'm calling it the Bible.
Okay, the Bible. You can call, you can
I'm
call,
not learning the terminology for this shit.
you can call it aerials.
What?
If you'd like, you can accurately call it Discount Michael Jackson. We'll get to that, but you can call it Discount Michael Jackson.
Just keep talking.
Okay. So. Alright. Are you ready to hear some shit? And as a programmer, Austin, I think you'll appreciate this. As someone who understands computer science, okay? So the guy made this AI, and he gave it the directive to ensure eternal happiness for humans without harming them. Okay?
Yeah.
And his critical error was that he didn't define what a human was. So the AI tries to figure out what the fuck a human is. Right?
Yeah.
And then it decides to define humans as having a soul which gives them free will. Okay?
Okay.
However, it saw a whole bunch of people like being part of society and governments, and it's kind of vague about what exactly it saw, but it decided that people were giving up their free will.
Yeah, it saw everybody on that grind and was like, huh, free will, what a joke.
And so it decided that these things were not actually humans.
I feel like that sometimes too. Continue.
So, having
You know, actually, hold up.
Hold up.
I vibe with this franchise now.
Okay. It has some really weird political statements if you look at it. It's not supposed to be, but I don't know if maybe it is. And then okay, so fuck. All right, where am I? I've lost place. All right. Thus must have free will and choice, but it realizes that humanity is gradually discarding their free will due to the natural state of human advancement, and bringing humans eternal happiness would only help the process along. Decides that real humans don't exist yet. The scroll bar on the timeline is barely moved. Okay, so it decides that it needs to kill all humans, is basically what this comes down to, okay?
Okay, evil AI. Story, classic story.
Classic. So it tries to manifest in Y2K, and the reason people start to believe in a higher power is because it is trying to broadcast its existence. And, from some perspective, it could be considered a higher power.
So the AI from heaven started trying to broadcast its existence, but it actually planned on killing everyone, but the people got the broadcast and were like, yo, God, is that you?
Yeah, well, because the message that it conveyed was divine will is coming.
Yeah, and it meant, like, yo, I'm coming from heaven to kill y'all.
Yeah, but I mean, you can very clearly see how that might be misinterpreted.
This is some Marisol shit.
Okay, so... Oh, fuck, hold on, I need to get to the justice thing. So, okay, I guess, just to give you the very brief, this is what the wiki says about that thing that I just explained. In 1999, the Universal Will made its first move in manifesting electronic devices worldwide to broadcast a message. In a matter of days, humanity will crumble. 7 days later, all electronic devices cease functioning, and multiple natural disasters bombarded civilization, an event known as the Dawn of Revival, leading to worldwide societal collapse until the original and his disciples introduced magic to the world. At some point after this, the original disappeared, re-entering the backyard in an attempt to stop the Universal Will. For all, his fate is currently unknown. Okay.
Wait, what was that last part?
The original went back into the backyard.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
He was trying to stop the Universal Will, but we know that didn't happen because we did that last game. Okay? Alright, so. The Universal Will launched a second attack in the year 2074.
A second attack.
A second attack.
Was the first one on the timeline?
Yeah, the first one was that Dawn of Revival thing that we just talked about. That was its first attempt. This thing calls it an attack.
Oh.
So it attempted in Y2K.
Is it what killed all the electronics?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it tried to end society by killing electronics and causing an apocalypse, but it didn't fucking work because we discovered magic and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except that it didn't break all electronics because Zep kept going.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Alright.
So the
AI gods a fuck up.
The Universal will launch a second attack in the year 2074, simultaneously attempting to manifest inside and seize control of a newly activated Justice. So it tries to manifest inside of Justice.
Okay, why?
Because Justice is very powerful.
Great.
That's the only reason. Justice is very, very powerful.
I mean, fair enough. I needed some reason why it picked that in particular.
Yeah, also, it has a pretty strong connection to gear cells. That is something else. Okay?
Okay.
So that's the other thing, is it really likes gears. For reasons.
Well, I mean, it's an AI, and the gears are also, in a sense, artificial. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So, as well as manifesting in the people of Japan, triggering a reaction that transformed them into antimatter gears.
Alright, we're gonna skip right over that. Keep going.
They turn into monsters, and the antimatter part just means they blow the fuck up.
Cool.
So, seeing this coming in the world right before his eyes, Asuka, which is that man, seized control of Justice, right? Like remotely, and fired her gamma ray at Japan, reducing the island nation to a deep crater in the ocean.
Worth.
So, MDZH, that is how we got to nuking Japan. And gamma rays are technically radiation. So it is kind of just actually nuking it. Both the contact with Universal Will and her actions psychologically scarred Justice and drove her berserk. Okay?
So who is Justice and how did she come to be? Because you said that she was this bitch we talked about like way earlier, but she didn't get made until after...
Arya is Justice.
Yeah, but she was way up there.
So, to back up, Arya, right around... here? Somewhere in between, like, these two bits, right? Tells Asuka and Frederick that she has a terminal illness that is incurable.
Oh, you mentioned this.
Yes. So, she doesn't want to be frozen. She does not want them to try to spend their lives finding a cure. What she wants is to live the rest of her life out with Frederick. However, this happens. Frederick was made into a gear. Okay. And forces Frederick to secretly depart. Right? Arya thinks he's, like, dead or something. I don't actually know what she thinks, but he's gone. So, she agrees to be cryo-frozen.
Okay.
Only took 30 minutes to get there. We're going at a breakneck speed. Okay, so, can I give you some actual motivations for this? Because I know it seems really random.
For what?
For all of this shit that just happened. The thing with Arya being cryo-frozen and that man making Frederick into a gear. Because there is actual explanation for it.
Sure. So why did they make gears?
That man decided that the only way he could possibly, like, save these two is to convince Arya to be cryo-frozen until a cure could be found. But the only way he could do that was if Frederick was gone, but would also survive long enough. So he did that to make him, quote, basically indestructible, so that he would, 1, disappear, and 2, live long enough to get Arya through the cryo-sleep so that they could find a cure for her, which he kind of did, but didn't really do.
How did that man live that long?
He has a ritual that has not been fully explained yet.
Okay, so he's doing some magic to extend his lifespan. Got it.
Yes. Mom, did that make any sense to you? She says a little.
This game raises far more questions than things it explains.
Okay, so he makes her into just.
Wait, wait. Okay, one more question.
What?
You said that man did this because it was his only way to. You described it as saving those two. Save them how?
Well,
and why?
Well, because he wanted to save her because she had an incurable illness.
Why does he want to save her?
Because they're all best friends.
Oh, okay. So personal motivations.
Yeah.
And then okay. So he wanted to save her and like I guess allow them both to continue living or some shit.
Together specifically.
Got it.
Because they're
okay. In love. He's being a bro.
Yes, and he is friends with both of them, and they are specifically in love.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. But then he used her to nuke a country.
That was to save the world.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying, like from her perspective, you know, terminal illness, boyfriend dipped, frozen, wakes up, gets possessed, and blows up a country.
Yes.
It's kind of a lot.
Well, it traumatizes her to the point where she just goes crazy and declares war on humanity.
Wait, what? Say that again.
So it traumatizes her.
Yeah.
To the point where she goes crazy and declares war on humanity.
Did that make sense when it happened?
The only explanation is that the universal will tried to manifest in her as well, and contact with that kind of fucked up her brain. But other than that,
so she was influenced by AI God.
Yes.
Which also wants to destroy humanity.
Yes, so kind of makes sense.
Okay. God, I have questions, but now there are more questions about what happens later, and they might be answered, so I can't ask them yet.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna miss stuff that happens in between if I do.
Yeah, I've also skipped over stuff. Don't worry about it too much. I've skipped over stuff. Okay, so the Crusades is... This part's really simple, okay?
Yeah.
So Justice, being the first gear with free will, controls all of the other gears.
The second gear with free will, right?
Yes. Frederick doesn't technically count.
Why?
He's not like... He's different. He's not a full gear. Justice is full gear. He can kind of suppress his gearness. But yes, technically the second. But the first that the government knows about. So anyways, she can control all the gears, because remember how they were just being mass-produced for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously because she was made, he implanted a thing that let her control them. Right? So, the Crusades, okay, take place for a while. I'm gonna let you finish typing before I keep going. She didn't set her body and did. So after nuking a thing that declared war on humanity, she decides to declare war on humanity. Yeah, kinda. But, like, she didn't really nuke it. She had lost control of her body at that particular moment.
It also wasn't really... She didn't necessarily decide to do it, from my understanding. She did, but it was, like...
She had gained...
Because she was insane.
I think in the cutscene they showed, she had gained consciousness for, like, a minute and a half or something. she, like, woke up, and then her body was used to destroy Japan. Okay, so the Crusades...
That sounds like molestation. I'm just saying.
I won't say it isn't. Okay.
Alright.
So basically she declares war on humanity, and it's a war of humanity versus her, and also all of the gears that have already been created.
Yeah.
This part's relatively simple. So, in order to combat justice, the UN forms the First Sacred Order of Holy Knights. Why is it a religious thing? I don't know. But they're just knights who use magic to destroy gears.
Okay, so Justice and the Gears are the Holy Inquisition running the Crusades, and then the UN was like, you know what? We're gonna found the Ottoman Empire, but this time we have magic.
Yes. That's a very good way of putting it, actually. I wish I had thought of that. We could have skipped over a lot.
The only way I can understand this is if I, like, draw stupid parallels to real-world shit. That's why I'm, like, aliasing everything.
You were doing that with Hiroaka, and it was better for it.
Alright.
Okay, so, there's a dude named Cliff, gets saved from a gear attack by Soul.
Wait, did they cover when he got the name Soul?
No.
You've explained it.
Yeah, that happened somewhere here. So this person, this vampire, he's a vampire, by the way, named Slayer, sees him, I think... What?
Buffy.
He's also slick as fuck, by the way. So he... but he is the guy... fuck, I think he's the guy who made the Assassin's Guild.
Yep.
I
like how they put on the timeline when the Assassin's Guild was created, but then it didn't come up in any of the following places until like now, and the thing you're talking about now isn't even on the timeline.
Yeah. So basically, the progress bar on the lore gives me depression.
I mean, I'm kind of into it when it's not making me angry irrationally.
Okay. So this part's actually, I think it's kind of cool. So basically, he sees Soul, I think, kill a gear or save him from a gear, right? And Soul's really good at fighting gears, and he's also really powerful, right? And he's also specifically good at fire magic. Most people have an aptitude for one kind of magic. I don't remember all the types. There's like fire, lightning, wind, and a couple others.
Are they all elemental?
No.
Great.
I think all of them except for one, which is Ki, which is like pure energy, and is something very, very rare.
Okay.
Anyways, so he's really good at fire magic, so he names him Soul, as in sun.
Yeah.
Like the sun. Which is a pretty fitting name. Because he burns like the fucking sun. Okay? So,
okay.
Saves a dude named Cliff. Okay?
Yeah.
Cliff joins the Holy Order. I'm just calling them the Holy Knights, okay?
He becomes commander of the Ottoman Empire. Got it.
Yes, becomes the commander of the Ottoman Empire because he's really good at battle. Like, he's really good at fighting.
All right, great. So we got the general of the heretics here.
Yes. So, Testament is Cliff's son. Joins the Holy Order.
Gets fucking killed.
Just dies. Body is never found.
What was that?
What?
You made a sound.
Well, his body is never found.
Great. He'll be fucking back, I guess.
Of course he will. I saw a Reddit post a while back, and someone's like, what characters do you guys think are going to make it into Strive eventually? Because obviously there's going to be DLC for this game. And someone's like, I don't remember what the name was, but someone's like, well, I'd like to see this character, but they're dead. That hasn't stopped Guilty Gear in the past, but I guess it's technically a point against them. Alright, so Zot, don't even worry about this shit. Alright, Kai joins the Holy Order. That Vampire Slayer, Assassin's Guild shit, don't worry about this, okay? So at this point, Soul joins the Holy Order. And they actually have a different character in I think Accent Core Plus R called Order Soul. And he's like a clone character with like a different moveset. Because he fights differently. Don't worry about this.
But that's our introduction to Ino.
Ah, fuck. We'll get to her. So that man and Ino meet for the first time. I don't even know like when the fuck this happened, and it doesn't give any more details.
2173, duh.
No, but like I don't know what the circumstances are or anything. So
great.
Okay, so in a heroic last dance under the Gear Manus, fuck, god damn it.
What the fuck is this?
This is why I didn't want to talk about Ino. She can time travel, and all of her alternate timelines are canon. Kind of. We're gonna ignore it. Okay, so this is the thing.
Kind of okay. Hold on, no. Humanity got extinct, and then this bitch went back in time and undid it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, does it matter that it happened?
No.
Well, then why is it?
I don't know. I think I'm mad that they put it here. Just ignore it. We're back to normal stuff. So Soul, okay.
Normal stuff. You called it normal stuff. Get out.
This is perfectly fine. He leaves the Holy Order, and he
Why?
Huh?
Why?
He doesn't like listening to people.
That's it.
Basically.
Is it like I don't like the same goal, but I don't like the way you're doing it kind of thing?
He's just he's a tsundere.
He left the only group fighting to save his species.
Well, he still keeps fighting. He just doesn't want to do it with them or under their rules.
That's not... Okay, describing it as he's a tsundere makes it sound like he did something really big for a really petty reason.
Well, I think it's petty.
I mean, okay.
Amnesia, I'm not going to answer those questions because I just don't fucking care, and we're going to ignore the Eno timeline bullshit as much as we fucking can.
What's a fire seal?
So it's a sword. Hold on. Where the fuck is it?
I don't think it came up here, did it?
No, it did. This. It's one of the sacred treasures. That's part of the outrage that he made.
Oh, okay.
So it's
sure.
The Fire Seal sword is a sword that, big surprise, lets the user utilize more powerful fire magic. So he fights with the Fire Seal sword. It's the sword that he has. Okay.
Okay.
Where were we? We were here. If you're curious, Kai eventually gets the Lightning Seal sword.
Okay.
Don't worry about this shit. Don't worry about this shit. Don't worry about this shit. Kai becomes Order Commander, so Cliff Anderson resigns. Kai Kiss gets given the Thunder Seal sword, and is now.
Why did Cliff leave?
He's just kind of getting old.
Okay.
His body's wearing down.
Everyone else gets to be made into a gear or do some sort of magic to sustain their life, and our boy Cliff just gets dumped on.
Yeah.
Justice for Cliff, not justice like.
Well,
you know.
You see, it's funny you should say that. Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
I'd like to point out that during this period, before he resigned, I'm not sure the exact time, but it's during the Crusades, okay?
Uh-huh.
He fought Justice either 6 or 7 times to a standstill.
Cliff?
Yeah.
Who is this man?
A fucking legend.
Wait, she nuked Japan and this dude could just 1v1 her?
Yep.
Why the fuck did he resign? He's living forever anyways.
We'll get to that. Okay, so, don't worry about this shit. This is when child grooming starts. End of the Crusades.
Wait. Okay, you need to explain that one for everyone else. I know, but
I'm
you do
not
have to
explaining shit.
It's important, otherwise we're gonna do our fuckability chart and it's gonna be really sus.
Right. So Johnny takes May. So Johnny is a dude, he's a pirate captain, alright? He has a bunch of pirates. He takes a girl who's, like, young. She doesn't have a canon age, but in the picture they showed of them meeting, she is young. Like, she could be, like, 6 at most, okay? Welcomes her to the Jellyfish Pirates. As she grows up, she falls in love with him. We call that child grooming.
Did we ever figure out if she's even legal by the time of this game?
I don't know. I still don't know, Austin. Okay, we're moving past it. Okay, so Soul, along with Kai, and I think Chip helped. No, he wasn't there. I lied.
Who?
Cliff.
Sorry. Oh, Chip, the person we skipped?
No, Cliff, not Chip. Cliff.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck?
I think Cliff is there. I could be wrong. They seal Justice inside of Magical Prison. Okay?
Alright.
Okay. They disband the thing. Don't worry about this shit. So he joins the International Police Force because it's the closest thing to the Holy Order he has. Cliff properly retires.
What was he doing after he stepped down before he retired?
I think they say that because he helps fight Justice here.
Oh, Okay, cool. So he's there. Final hurrah, and then he retires.
Yeah. What the fuck is this? Oh,
More Assassin's Guild stuff that you've been skipping.
yeah, don't worry about it. So someone, I actually love this. Someone starts spreading rumors about justice being awakened. Okay? And we'll get to who did that soon, okay?
Okay.
Don't worry about this. Okay. This is... So, with the UN's blessing, Russia and the EU combined, creating the United Kingdoms of Illyria.
Where'd the name come from?
I don't know. If I looked up that word, I might be able to figure it out, but right now, I just don't know. So...
I like how it took 107... Or... It took over 100 years for fucking...
Well,
Russia
because of,
to, like...
the Crusades, humanity, like, the society is a fucking mess, okay? Like, in North America, there just aren't any more countries. Most of it is wasteland by now.
Nice.
So, like the
As
U.S.
it should be.
Canada, like, doesn't even exist anymore.
Good. Wipe us off the fucking map.
So, like, a lot of these countries just barely even existed.
Great.
Alright, so...
Honestly, this game is a dream for globalists.
Yeah. So, the Post-War Administration Bureau is established. The UN forms the Post-War Administration Bureau and charges it with repairing the damage caused during the Crusades. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay. After... Okay, see, this dude Axel, right? In 1998, he, like, trips and falls through time.
I'm sorry, were you expecting a reaction? That's the tamest thing I've heard all day.
I fucking love Axel. MDZH, you might like this character because he's a zoner. Okay, so after a couple falls through time, obviously it's not specified, he appears in this timeline in 2178. Don't worry about this shit. Hey, by the way, Testament's alive. Remember him? Cliff's son?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So he's alive. Dizzy is... We'll get to her, okay? Don't worry about this. Alright, so, with the possibility of Justice's resurrection on the horizon, the powers that be, I love the way they phrase that, rush to hold the Second Sacred Order of Holy Knights selection tournament. So they hold...
Who are the powers that be?
The government.
The UN.
Well, that doesn't really exist. It's the Post-War Administration Bureau.
The UN created the Bureau. It didn't say the UN dissolved.
It politics in this game are confusing. You could be right. I'm not. Anyways, powers that be. So they hold this big tournament to decide who is going to be the new Sacred Order of Holy Knights to fight justice. Should she reawaken?
Okay.
So this, by the way, is the thing that the first game is taking place in. Like, this is the premise of the first game, this tournament. Okay?
Did they have prequels then?
No, this just all got explained at various points in time.
What? They explained all of that shit with exposition?
Some of it was exposition, some of it... I think they did make a couple, like, comics. Some of it was explained through a pachinko game. Kill me. Okay. Zato dies. So
I don't know who that is, so it doesn't matter. We've been ignoring him.
We've been ignoring him. He's not dead, but we're not gonna worry about it, okay?
Dude, okay, at some point, this bitch is gonna come up, and you're gonna have to go back and explain everything that you've been skipping.
It's not...
It's too late now, but...
Okay, so Cliff dies during this tournament. Fighting justice.
Oh, wasn't he old?
Yeah. So, what they gloss over this. What actually ends up happening... Do they mention it here? No, okay. So what actually ends up happening is... Okay, so So, do you remember when this happened? When someone started spreading rumors about Justice reawakening?
Yes.
So that was Testament.
Okay.
And the reason Testament did it is because he planned on awakening Justice.
Why though?
The answer I'm gonna give you is he's evil because I don't remember what the actual reason was, but that's basically the reason.
Why is he evil? What made him evil?
I don't know. I think he's part gear at this point, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Did he get like abducted when he supposedly died?
I don't remember, Austin. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry. I just don't remember, Austin. Can we just go with he's evil? I can.
but there's obviously more because he was
wiki.
And like it might have something to do with that dizzy bitch who we haven't talked about.
It doesn't have to do with her. She shows up later.
He was there.
Yeah, but she becomes important later. And okay, let's see. All right, let's see. So, born during the Crusades, was orphaned at a young age, adopted by Cliff Anderson. Joins the Order during a mission. He dies. He was. So he didn't actually die? Wait, no. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, Austin, bear with me. Okay, so during the Crusades, he was kidnapped and turned into a gear?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. He was kidnapped, turned into a gear. Okay, so Justice turned him against humanity because he was a gear and she could control him now.
Yeah.
So then he fucking dies. Because
Wait,
Cliff met him in battle, thought he was a gear, and killed him. But he doesn't actually die.
So he fake died twice.
Yeah, I think. So, he's a gear, and he was controlled by Justice, which is now why he wants to revive Justice, okay? Is that better?
Wait, what?
So he became a gear, right? He was turned into a gear?
Yeah.
And then Justice took control of him, because she takes control of all gears.
Yeah.
And that is why he wants to now revive Justice, because she took control of him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Alright, so he starts spreading these rumors of Justice's revival, which makes people freak out, and he does a little bit of behind-the-scenes manipulating to get them to hold this tournament. Okay?
Okay.
This tournament. Okay?
Yeah.
And he uses that tournament to get a bunch of sacrifices for Justice.
Okay.
So at the end of the tournament, he needs like one more sacrifice, right?
Mm-hmm.
He tries to kill Soul, but it doesn't work. So he decides to. Let me make sure I have this right. Hold on. Yeah, okay, no, I have it right. Good. All right, we're fine. So he decides that he will be the final sacrifice, sacrifices himself, revives Justice. Okay.
Okay.
Which is this shit. She doesn't get revived at full power, though, okay?
Wait, but did Cliff die first?
I don't think so, because I'm about to explain what I thought happened.
They have Cliff's death first.
I don't know why. So what I thought happened... Let me fact check this. Maybe that's like an alternate ending. Okay. So this might be an alternate ending, but I thought that Cliff used a really powerful magic spell, right? To return himself to his prime and fought Justice as he was in his prime. As like one last fight.
That would have been sick.
It was sick, but I think it would happen in an alternate universe or an alternate timeline. Maybe Eno reversed that timeline.
I was gonna say, potentially canon. It could be canon. You could be right.
Yeah, so anyways, basically it ends up being that Soul beats Justice. I love how it says completely destroyed.
Wait. That doesn't explain why Cliff died first. Before she got revived in the timeline.
Maybe she just kills him, I don't know. No,
But
she's dead.
she
I
can't
don't
kill him
know.
She can't kill him before she's
Why did he
revived.
die? Okay.
It just says he died during the tournament. Does that mean that someone else in the tournament killed him?
Okay, so at the end of the turn, I'm going to read exactly from the wiki, okay?
Uh-huh.
At the end of the tournament, Testament appears to the winner, and then in brackets, officially it is Soul, but this varies depending on the character played as. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to go to Cliff's page.
Yep, I was about to suggest that.
Alright, give me a minute here.
I need to know how Cliff dies and when now. Otherwise it won't make sense.
Alright. No personality.
And at this point, Cliff is my hero.
Okay, so born in 2093. Blah, 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 blah. So we're good up until this tournament, right?
Yes.
With Cliff specifically.
Yes.
Okay. So for 5 years, Cliff lived a quiet life of retirement in sheer boredom. I'm reading this straight from the wiki.
Sounds about right.
His only diversion was the study of various cultures' fighting techniques, the most interesting of which stemmed from Japan. He studied a bunch of martial arts.
Got it.
In 2180, well, okay, so he sees an ad for the tournament. He suspects Justice's revival, and he decides to enter.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's what we got, okay? Cliff finds out that Testament is using them to free Justice. So that happens. Now, in Cliff's ending, he seemingly kills Testament, who tells Cliff to cheer up and calls him Dad once again. Before he can follow his son to hell, the feeble Cliff defeats Justice. In her dying words, she now understands why her control over Testament was limited. He still felt love for his father. The duty fulfilled at last, Cliff nevertheless pushed himself a bit too far and passes away. Cliff was... I have no fucking clue.
Wait, but that's not, like, this canon, obviously.
Yeah, and then it... So I read you that passage, which is obviously not this canon, right?
Yeah.
And the next paragraph, Cliff was buried in a cemetery located in a village near the Grove. And then it talks some more shit about his, like, grave. But not his death. Ooh, wait, hold on. Back up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In Guilty Gear XX...
I was literally just reading that.
In Justice's story mode, which is a retelling of the tournament, Cliff tells Justice that failing to stop her was his greatest failure. Justice offers to let him go, but Cliff... Okay, yeah, Justice kills him. This timeline is wrong. Justice kills him.
Bro, bug report. Absolutely unplayable.
That's what
Wrong order of events.
That's what I thought, and I was right. Justice kills him. Okay, so Justice is revived.
Dookie.
Cliff dies. Soul beats Justice. Who the fuck is Gabriel? Oh, right. He's the guy who ends up owning Zep. Don't worry about... This is interesting, but I don't know how much you care. And
Is it important?
No.
Okay.
Potemkin was a slave. This guy essentially held a slave rebellion, basically.
Okay.
And freed Potemkin. And Potemkin is now... He works with this guy, but he doesn't, like, own him.
Okay.
All right. They made a bunch of robot versions of Kai.
Makes sense.
That isn't relevant to anything. I really like this plot point because it's fucking stupid. This guy becomes kind of important later, but don't worry about it for now.
After Paradigm goes to heaven.
Okay,
Paradigm?
so
Paradigm.
Dizzy is a gear, remember? No, it's fine. She's a gear. She's also, at this point, 3 or 4 years old, but it's like full maturity.
Uh-huh.
And the government find out that she's a gear and place a 500,000 currency bounty on her.
Great.
I should mention, by the way, that right now Soul is just kind of acting as a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunch of people go to this forest, right? Yeah, so a bunch of people go to this forest and try to fight her. Most of them don't make it past Testament, who's there, by the way, protecting her. Still alive.
Wait, what?
Don't even. So Dizzy's there. She's a gear. A bunch of people try to get to her. Soul and Kai are the only ones who do. And Soul fights her, and he's gonna kill her, but Kai steps in the way because she actually doesn't really want to fight people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's just trying to live her life. Okay?
Yeah.
So Kai saves her because he's like, bro, she ain't killing people. Like, let her live her life, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then marries her a couple years later.
A gear?
Yeah.
I thought that gears were like monstrous creatures.
So she...
Half gear?
Yeah, technically she's a half gear, but for the sake of this, she can just be treated as a gear. Yes, you are right, Austin. So she has wings and a tail, but is mostly human other than that. Except
so Kai is just a furry simp.
Yes. However, the fact that
I'm disappointed in him.
She is vaguely monstrous, like they aren't like angel wings, and so she was like shunned by her town, and this mob tried to kill her. And then Kai...
Jarek, you've been learning how to play a furry simp. You have to switch mains right now.
Quit
learning him, forget everything you learned.
Forget that. Are we going to ignore the fact that he married an 8-year-old?
Okay, so you're playing a really, really extra sus furry simp.
And had a kid with her.
You should consider learning someone else.
Anyways,
I'm just saying.
That happens. Don't worry about this. We'll get back to it. Don't worry about
Who's Jam?
This dumb bitch owns a restaurant. Okay?
Wait, but she supposedly killed Dizzy.
Yeah, so she's the only one there other than Kai and Soul, I think.
Why?
And she's just...
Did she come up before this?
She came for the bounty, but she got there, like, late and just ended up, like, hiding in the bushes nearby and oversaw everything that happened. And no one else cared to correct her, so she got the bounty.
She took the bounty money and opened a fucking restaurant?
Yeah, which was, like, her dream. Which is why she was...
Wait, what's the update on Paradigm?
It's not important.
Great. Okay, he discovered a Cuban heaven.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Cool.
We'll get to it later. This bitch opens a restaurant, and then it burns down, and then she has to, like, pay for the restaurant again. And literally none of this matters.
Why is it on the timeline? Because it's so mundane.
Because people who care about her, like, she's a playable character, so this is their excuse for having her be part of the game.
They gave her own, like, parallel story. That doesn't matter. It's so boring.
Okay, we're gonna skip over those last 2 points because they're Assassin's Guild shit that does not matter. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
Fuck Johnny. All my homies hate Johnny.
What the fuck is this? The first issue of Dynamic Housewives, a monthly magazine, goes on sale. It quickly becomes one of Johnny's favorite pieces of literature.
Johnny is canceled.
What the fuck does that...
Johnny's the groomer, isn't he?
Yes! Why is
This man's
this here?
porn mags, cheating on his underage girl.
god. Okay.
How much more is in this?
We'll see. Okay, so Kai Kisk gives Soul Bad Guy custody of his son Sin.
Whose son?
So Kai and Dizzy had a son.
Why did they give it to Soul? Soul feels like a less than optimal father.
Well, Kai doesn't really know what to do. Because his son's part gear and also hates him. And he feels super guilty. And also, he has to keep all of the super secret because people still, like, hate gears because they had a fucking war against them.
Why does his son hate him?
Because he never looks him in the eye. Because he's embarrassed or guilty about it.
I see. Wait, he did like lead an army whose purpose was eradicating gears too.
Yes.
That's a little awkward.
Yeah.
And then he went and fucked one.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyways, he has like a kind of heart-to-heart with Soul, which is kind of just Soul kicking his ass. Like,
great.
Literally, I think he just punches him really hard at one point during that conversation.
All right.
And Soul ends up just taking Sin along with him as he does his bounty hunting bullshit.
Great. Wait, how does Sin feel about this?
Oh, Sin loves it.
Cool.
Because he hates his dad.
So Soul is like the cool uncle.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sin calls him old man, and Soul teaches him how to fight. And like,
doesn't Soul look like he's like 30 at most?
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
I do want to. Something that I think is really cool is Sin tells Soul like he wants to learn how to fight. He wants to use a really cool and flashy looking weapon, right? And then Soul's like, yeah, all right, whatever. Go find a fucking flag. You'll never guess what Sin learns to fight with.
Megamax, is that you?
Alright, this happened.
I thought that already happened.
Apparently it happened again.
But the UN sanctioned it when it happened the first time. Didn't they?
This timeline has already made fucking mistakes, so...
No, go back to that Illyria shit.
So I think what happens here is that... Wait, hold on.
They mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
So, okay.
With the UN's blessing, Russia and the European Union combined, creating the United Kingdoms of Illyria.
Okay, so
they recognized it in 2177, not 21 whenever.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to put forward, okay? I think what the difference is at this point, it was a something, but it was not a kingdom.
It was a United Kingdoms. That's in the name.
No, but it was not a... I don't think it was the United Kingdoms of Illyria. Because it didn't actually have a king at this point, I don't think. And here... I don't know.
They elected a king.
This timeline might be wrong. Anyways, they have a king. Kai Kiss becomes the first king. Leo Whitefang is the second king. Don't worry about who
the fuck
Leo
is that?
He's a playable character, but he doesn't actually have that much importance, so don't worry about it.
Second king like the successor, or second king like a vice president?
Vice president is I think they actually all have equal power there, because there are 3 kings. Are there 5 kings? There are 3 kings we know about. There might be 5. And I think they just control different part of the United Kingdoms.
I'm looking at the next thing, and Chip, get the fuck out of here. I didn't even learn who you are.
Chip's a ninja. Don't. Okay.
Oh, okay. He's just like a fake-ass king. He's sad.
Yeah, this was actually kind of funny. So he takes...
The Eastern Chip Kingdom.
Yep.
I don't care about this guy.
Himself president of a kingdom.
Going.
Okay.
I don't care about him. Keep going.
Yeah, so, Baptism of 13. So, Dormant Gears, right? So, gears that have been deactivated or gears that are, like, in research or whatever, right? Because some people took the gear bodies and started researching them, stuff like that. Start just, like, disappearing. Like, they fade away and almost dissolve before people's eyes.
Uh-oh.
Okay? And people are like, well, what the fuck? This seems very bad.
Great.
What the fuck is
scary.
This? I fucking hate shit. Fuck out of here. He's playable in this game.
The man held a poetry contest to try and get his country legitimized.
Okay. So gears continue to disappear, and a young woman calling herself Valentine appears in the capital of Illyria with her Visual army. I don't even remember what Visuals are. I think they're kind of like gears, but we're not even gonna... I don't care. So, they skipped over a lot of shit.
Soul fucked this bitch in heaven.
They skipped over a lot of shit. The only part that I'm gonna bring up that's important... So, this stuff here, okay... The reason they skipped over so much of it is because this is the MOBA game. And for the MOBA game, they had to, like, one, make this bullshit excuse, like, oh, these new enemies, that's why they're visuals, okay? Because these new enemies, these visuals, aren't affected by regular magic, okay? And so, this furry, literally a furry, shows up and is like, wait, but I can show you a new kind of magic. And so that they can summon things to be like a MOBA.
So, did they explain
canon.
how Soul and Valentine went to heaven? Because the last we checked, the Paradigm was still figuring that shit out.
Yes, they do explain this. Do you want to know? It's complicated.
How much more is left on the timeline?
Quite a bit. We're gonna skip
I have to
over
eat dinner.
This happens. It's not that important, but it matters because Dizzy is still, like, no one knows about her. Like, his wife. So, don't worry too much about what this is. The only thing of this that's important is that he got another one of the sacred treasures. Okay, so these are like... So you know Tony Stark's, like, robots that he sends to, like, protect the world elsewhere?
No.
Oh. Alright, moving on. So Ramlethal Valentine appears, right?
Yeah.
So all the people named Valentine are related to that other Valentine, and we'll get to why they're all called that later.
Okay.
I'm just going to mention now. They're all Justice's daughters.
Okay.
So this one shows up and declares war on all of humanity.
Does Soul know that Justice was his partner?
Yeah, Soul... So, yeah, back when he beat her the first time... No, sorry, back when he beat her during the tournament, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She said, I wish the three of us could have been together again, and he realized that this was Arya.
Cool.
Oh, can we back up for a second? Remember back before she got cryo-frozen, right after Frederick disappeared?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's implied that she was pregnant. Which is how a bunch of characters were born. Specifically Dizzy.
Wait,
sorry, I was wrong. The Valentines are not Justice's daughters. I was
gonna say that'd be confusing. So,
No.
So Dizzy is Soul and Justice's child.
Yes. And it does get brought up that Soul is technically Kai's father-in-law. And Kai is very unhappy about that fact. They have a whole cutscene about it. He is not happy about it.
All right, let's keep going.
Okay. So the Valentines are not Justice's daughter. They're someone else's daughter. We'll get to it. So she gets her ass kicked, and they capture her. So, okay. A tremendous object appears over the city of Babylon, and then it destroys everything, and people call it the Cradle. Okay?
Okay.
So, this.
Okay.
And so, what happens is the people running the Cradle, who are the Conclave, who are 4 of the Apostles from earlier, reasons I'm not gonna fucking get into, try to use this to revive Justice, but it doesn't work because Soul jumped on a missile and punched through a magic force field.
Of course he did.
Oh, we're almost done. We're kind of almost done.
There's a big line below the surrender of that man.
Oh yeah, that's the end of it.
Okay, loops. I thought there was about to be a time skip.
Okay, so here's what happens. This stuff here, right?
Yeah.
From like this onwards to like here,
Uh-huh.
is like 2 games worth of story that they are glossing the fuck over. So we're gonna do
Great.
that too. This girl named Elfelt, who's Ramlethal's sister, some bullshit happened. She got kidnapped by the Universal Will. Okay.
What? Oh, okay.
So Ariel's is the Sanctus Maximus Populi, who's just like the highest power in the world right now. Like the world ruler.
Oh, okay, so she fucking backdoored her way into power.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Got it, making moves.
so she declares war on humanity.
The Universal Will is the god AI, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is what she's been trying to do. So
Didn't she declare war on humanity like 150 years ago or some shit?
She tried to. They didn't really get the memo.
Oh. Oh, right. They instead made a cult worshipping her.
Yeah, kind of. So she does this.
Backfire.
She does this and puts on this face mask, or this face paint, that's supposed to look like Michael Jackson, I think. And she does the moonwalk at one point.
I'm uncomfy.
And then, I love how they just skip. Yeah, they defeat the Universal Will. How come you had the fucking time to mention Jam's fucking restaurant, but you just skip over all of this bullshit?
File size. File size.
Okay.
Bro, people had to install this game on their PS4s. File size.
Okay, so I do.
They ran out of space.
I do need to point out some important shit that happens during this, okay? Because it's relevant, and I think it's going to be relevant to this game's story. So, okay, how do I even start with this? Do you remember the cube?
Yes. That dude found the cube in heaven.
Yeah. So that was like an information thing, and they had to destroy that while they were there.
Okay.
Okay, fuck, I need to back up because there's a whole bunch of... They skipped over so much shit, okay? So much of actually important stuff, at least I think is important. So, first of all, they're trying to revive Justice again.
Okay.
They do that a lot. Apparently, it's kind of the plot of every fucking game. By the way, at this point, people have started calling Justice the god of destruction because that's basically what she is. Also, people call Soul the god of war sometimes. Because he's just that powerful.
Okay.
Also, do you remember when he stole one of the sacred treasures earlier? Like the second one?
Yeah.
So he combined that with his current sacred treasure to make this... He just like upgraded his sword to be super cool.
Okay. Also, he didn't steal it. He was the one who made it.
Well, he made it, and then someone else had it, and then he killed the guy and took it.
It's not stealing.
Yeah. To be fair, the other guy...
It's repossession.
The other guy was evil, so...
It was repossession and murder.
Yeah.
But mostly repossession.
Yeah. So, okay. To beat the Universal... By the way, they're still trying to figure out... They don't... At the start of this game, they don't even really know what the Universal Will is. Like, they just know that it's evil, right?
Cool.
So that man shows up, and people start calling him Gear Maker, because that's what he is. The guy who made gears. And he explains all of this shit to them. Like, so much of this that I explained to you, okay?
Okay.
Like, all the background with the original, and the backyard, and the AI, and the fuck up with the definitions. He explained all of that in just one huge fucking exposition dump.
Sure.
So then, finally, Soul realizes that he isn't completely evil. Because Soul has hated this guy, by the way, and he's tried to kill him almost every time they've met.
Okay.
There's only one time. Do you remember when he jumped on the missile and punched through a force field? That man helped him do it.
Okay.
Because that man was working against the Conclave. But now Soul finally realizes, okay, maybe you aren't totally evil. And so that man ends up working with them to, like, fix the situation, okay?
Wait, that man disappeared for the bulk of this timeline.
Yes.
What the fuck was he doing?
Okay. So. Way back the fuck when. So he was one of the apostles. The people who learned from the original, the guy who went to the backyard and made that AI.
Yeah.
So while he was there, he discovered these 2 informational bodies, is what they're called, okay?
Okay.
There's some bullshit about an absolute world, which is just a cataclysmic event that they prevented at one point. We're not going to go into it, okay?
Okay.
The important part is that he called them the Flame of Corruption and the Scales of Juno. A character later jokingly refers to them as Adam and Eve. And I still don't really know what they are. I'm going to be real with you. They're called informational bodies. I don't know what the fuck that means. I just don't know. So that man took those things and turned them into seeds. Okay? Not literal seeds, but like quote-unquote seeds. And he put those seeds inside Frederick and Arya when he turned them into gears.
Okay.
So then he fucked off for like 200 years to try to prepare for... I don't remember how long he fucked off for, but he fucked off for a while.
Most of this timeline is how long.
To prepare... to try and defeat the Universal Will. That's what he was ultimately prepping for.
Okay, so he was off doing whatever to get ready for the boss fight.
Yeah.
And then he showed up to help.
Yeah.
So why did Soul think he was evil?
Because Soul turned him into a gear, kind of pretended to try and kill him, and also turned Arya into a gear and then nuked Japan.
Okay, so Soul just didn't know that that man was actually doing everything ultimately for their and the world's benefit.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that man didn't tell him and made it seem like he tried to kill him.
Yeah.
And also, humanity knows the Gear Maker as like the history's greatest criminal because he made the gears that almost wiped out humanity.
Yeah.
So that compounded.
Which wasn't... First of all, he didn't really do it, and second of all, it was actually the opposite of what he intended.
Yeah. I actually think that particular thing is going to be addressed this game. We'll get to that. So, okay. He takes those things, he put them inside them, and I'm still not really sure exactly what the fuck's going to happen with that, or if something did. Maybe it could have, and I might have fucking missed it. So he shows up, he helps them. So, okay. A bunch of shit happens, right? And the final battle ends up being on this floating island in the middle of the sea for some reason that I don't remember. And the Universal Will is there, and Elfelt, this bitch, is there. People really like her. Sin specifically really likes her, so he wants to get her back. Okay. And she said some really inspirational stuff to Soul about opening up to people, so he wants to get her back.
Okay.
And that's like the motivate. It's an anime thing. And then okay.
We got to the last point.
I'm almost done.
Dude,
so,
dinner's been ready for like 15 minutes.
Okay, so they go, and then... Alright, I'm going to give you what I think is the most important details of this, okay? So, one, so what the Universal Will is trying to do is fuse Elfelt with Justice to revive her.
Okay.
And to do this, I don't remember how she plans on doing it.
Okay, don't care.
But that man made a backup of Arya's soul. And he put that into this thing. I don't know what the fuck to call it. It looks like a girl, but she's magic or something? I don't know what the fuck it is. Is it a gear? Is it just a thing? Is it a husk? I have no fucking idea. It's called Jacko. It's also the worst fucking designed character in this series, or so I have been told.
And it had Arya's soul in it.
Yes, part of Arya's soul. The other part was Injustice.
Is it safe to separate someone's soul?
Probably not.
Okay, sure.
But to fix this problem, right? They decide that their plan is to fuse Jacko, Arya, with Justice, which will hopefully get like the original Arya back.
Great.
So, that ends up happening. That's all of the important information. There's one more bit I want to tell you because it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
To do that, they need a huge amount of energy. So they fire a giant fucking laser at her. And Jacko manages to channel the laser into Justice's body and then fuse with her, but it doesn't quite go right because Justice rejects her.
Okay.
So she decides that she's going to override Justice, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, she needs an even bigger surge of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Soul decides that he thinks he can handle that much power, and so asks them to fire an even bigger laser. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, this other dude, the third king, is here, and he decides that this plan is not going to work and that he needs to save the world his own way because he doesn't believe in Soul. Right? So
why not? Hasn't the dude beaten literally everything?
There's not like a good reason for it. He's just stupid.
Great.
He is almost treated like a villain, so he's just not bright. So he gets a whole bunch of ships, right? To like fire these cannons, like I don't know what the fuck they are. They're not lasers that energy that they can use. They're something else. At Soul before the big laser gets to him. Because well he fires it at Justice's body, which is what Jacko is trying to fuse with, but Soul happens to be in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And at this moment, Axel, the bitch who was tripping through Chime, freezes time because he finally learned how to control his powers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really important decision because by making the decision to save this future, he cuts off his ability to go back to the past and see his girlfriend, which has been his only goal for the longest time.
Oh, okay.
But
so basically, he decided to save the world instead of serving his own motivations.
Yes.
Neat.
And like it's this thing where like he had been mentioned time and time throughout the story, right? And when it finally happened, I lost my shit because I'm like, oh, of course, it makes perfect fucking sense. It's one of those moments.
Yeah.
It was sick as shit. And then in that moment of frozen time, it's called condensed time because he doesn't completely freeze time.
Don't care.
Yeah, he just allows Soul to eat a giant fucking laser, shoot that shit into Arya, and she blushes while it hits her.
Oh, she was missing his cannon.
And then Justice's body disappears, and Soul in all the cloud dust settles, and Soul is holding a naked Arya.
So Arya came back.
I've heard that not exactly, but yes. And then the game ended.
So okay, go down one. I just want to read it.
Oh, this.
Okay. Yeah, and then
This.
that's what you just talked about.
So right before he does this, so he does give himself in, okay?
Uh-huh.
But right before he does this, and I'm mentioning it because I think it's going to be relevant to the plot of this game,
Uh-huh.
he challenges Soul to a fight.
Uh-huh.
To settle their differences.
Uh-huh.
And says, before I fight, I just need to handle some shit. And it's implied that this is the shit that he needs to handle.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Alright, I am going to take a bathroom break.
It's probably gonna be an hour or two before I'm able to come back, and at this point, I don't know if I'm gonna come back to this tonight. I need to marinate on some of this shit.
If you don't want to, I'm going to take a bathroom break, then keep streaming.
Alright, save the story for me.
Alright, if you show up, we'll play the story. If not, I'm going to do some training mode, then hop the fuck online.
Alright.
God. I want to fucking die.
We got through it. Now you have to make a Cadet's Guilty Gear lore video, though.
Ugh, kill me.
Clip up nation.
Alright, I'm gonna take a bow. I'll be back.
Bye-bye.